I've really been following a lot of Alex Becker's videos. He has this new channel, Alex Becker Business, and he talks a lot about what people have to do today who are young to make a lot of money. And he talks about just like if you want to be that 1% who succeeds and does something like really big, think of what everyone else is doing and then don't do that.
Right.
And you put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And one thing I really liked is he said the moment you turn 18, move out of your house, live with 5 roommates, just have a mattress on the floor and a computer and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty good advice.
That's a great point. Yeah.
I think a lot of people would benefit from doing that. And no Netflix, no video games,
I think
no drinking.
Literally all 3 of us did our own version of all of that. Like I know you've done that. You've lived with like 5 roommates and you were house hacking. I know you did that. I did that in my own way with Airbnb, and I was renting out a room. I was subleasing. Like we all had to do that and do what I think 99% of people just would not put up with. But if you can just get to that escape threshold, like that escape velocity to where you're not reliant necessarily on that paycheck, even for a little, to go out and, build a business or whatever.
It's interesting. I get really frustrated lately when I see people who are like 18 to 21 not doing anything and just kind of like coasting, because I'm like, they have no idea how much opportunities out there and just what they could get involved in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just, it frustrates me to see a potential being wasted.
I've thought about that too. And I'm kind of like the devil's advocate on that because I think it's true that now more than ever, there's more economic opportunity to make money with so many different things, right? With like the Ubers, the Airbnbs, and like the TaskRabbits, like the task economy. I get that. And also with social media, obviously, like the biggest opportunity. But I also feel like if I view it from that perspective, it's also very selfish because those are my interests. Like I'm interested in those things. So I'm like, why aren't you doing that? But I feel like for a lot of people, like what if they're not interested in that? And they like look at the last generation and, their parents and like how they got screwed by the system. I could totally tell like why they would feel that way.
I just feel like as a young guy, because that's our audience. It's like 90-something% male. You have to create some sort of value.
Right.
There's got to be something that you're doing to stand out. And when you have that energy when you're young and you don't need to sleep 8 hours and you don't always look tired in videos because you didn't sleep and you're stressed. It's just like you have so much opportunity.
It's true.
That's where I get frustrated.
Do you ever think you're lucky sometimes to be interested in the thing that happens to make a lot of money? Sometimes I look at Warren Buffett and I'm like, that's a cool skill that he has, but it's so like one-dimensional and he happens to exist in a world that rewards him greatly for it.
I think I got lucky in the sense that
you found
am naturally a saver. No, I think I would have made money no matter what I would have done. If it were aquariums, I know I would have made money doing aquariums. Because now some of these businesses that like the aquarium businesses, they're profiting like $3 million a year doing aquariums.
That's cool.
It's like incredible. It's a really, really, really good business.
Right.
I would have done that. There's just like whatever interest you have, I bet there's a way to make at least $100,000 to $200,000 a year on your own schedule.
At the end of the day, it's about like not necessarily your interests, but are you the type of person to like roll onto your back and just like kind of let life happen to you? Or are you the person that like comes up, fails against something, and then tries to learn from it and then uses that as like a tool in your belt to then, help solve a problem later in life? It's just your ability to provide value and learn from failure.
But then again, are you born with that?
Right.
Or are you raised with that?
Right. That's the $1 trillion question.
And here's an interesting one between Jason and Brett Oppenheim. Twins, raised same parents, same school, same experiences, completely different.
In what way?
Jason is very like type A, very motivated, business, works all the time. Brett is so laid back and chill.
Is he lazy?
No, I wouldn't say he's lazy. Actually, no, I would not say he's lazy. I would say that he just isn't interested in that constant grind and hustle. He just has zero desire to work himself beyond what he needs. And I remember like this is years ago, but he would basically do enough business in real estate to chill for the rest of the year. Obviously, if there's a client or something that came up, he would do it. But some of these years he can make, quite a bit of money and then just like, all right, I'm going to Greece for a while and just relaxing.
Right.
And then if he needs more money, he'll just be like, all right, I'm going to go and make more money. It just makes enough. It's just he's got a natural ability to just go and make money.
I really admire people like that. I don't think I'm one of those people. I'm not like, I need to constantly grind and make more money. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people are so poor that all they have is money, basically. I think if that's the only thing that drives you, that's cool. I can't relate with that.
How has your
makes sense.
definition of success changed then, going from being like from an immigrant family, not having a lot of money, and then going through life earning a lot of money, now having, quite a bit of money post-tax, just like chilling?
I think my definition's changed a lot. Like nowadays, if I see someone with kids, I'm like, that's wealth to me. I don't know why. I just view somebody with a family as like being wealthy. Probably because it also costs a lot of money to have kids and maintain a good family. But that's just to me like more important at this point. But I also realize it's a privileged perspective because I didn't always have that perspective. It's obviously easy to have that when you have money.
Speaking of family and relationships, what is the best relationship advice you've heard? And what does the red pill movement
oh my God.
get right and wrong about dating?
I don't think I know enough about the red pill movement to like represent what it has right. You tell me.
I don't know.
You know what it is.
You were telling me all of this red pill jargon.
That's red pill jargon?
Right before the podcast, you were like saying the craziest stuff.
I was?
Yeah.
What? I was like, what are you...
So what's the best relationship advice you've heard?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever heard relationship advice.
Never?
Never. No, not
then
really.
What is the best relationship advice? Like what works for you in your relationship?
Growing up, I saw my parents have a very tumultuous and like very bad relationship. And I always equated having a crazy relationship where you always fight as like love. And I think over time, that definition has matured and changed. Like I was like, oh, I'm fighting with like my girlfriend. So therefore, that means we really love each other. And the more we fight, the more in love we are. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really toxic way of viewing it. And I think as I've matured and I've gotten older, I've realized that you can be chill and, have your own time to yourself and not get like, bothered by a lot of things. And that can be love. And I didn't see that growing up. So I think that's just like experience and time of realizing that. And also just being so much later in life to have kids or like to want a family. And I think that just comes from maturing, which I did not see my parents do because my parents had me when they were like 19. So
it's always crazy to me because I think, oh man, if I had a kid at 18 years old, how old would they be now? It's like 17?
Right.
I always do that. I'm like, hey, instead of having Bailey, if we had a kid, they'd be like 5.5 years old. It's weird stuff like that.
But if you had a kid now, do you think you'd look back in your life and be like, I wish I didn't have a kid. I wish I could have just made a couple more million before I did it.
It's less about that and more about just the time. If I had a kid today and this a child appeared, I would regret not having traveled more and done experiences that you just can't do quite the same after having a kid. And I think travel is a big one. And I would have been like, oh, man, instead of spending all the time working, I should have done all these other things that I just postponed.
Really? I don't think you'd feel that way at all. I think you'd eventually get to do those things, whether it's with your kids or after.
Bill Perkins, because we talked about this on that pod, really opened my eyes. And he's like, your window is closing of you before kids.
Right.
And once you have a child, the you that's sitting here today is never going to exist again in the same capacity.
Yeah.
And he said, now is your time to do these things in your life because it's your last chance. And I was like, oh, wow, he's correct. So I'm in the mindset now where like, hey, now is a good time to travel.
Right.
Take it a bit slower, do these things that I just don't want to keep putting it off forever.
That's true. I don't think you traveled quite a lot, right? Yeah.
Japan.
Right.
But I want to spend a year and over the year, maybe spend 2 months of the year, just spread out throughout the year, just traveling different places.
Do you have like a checklist of places you want to go and then you're like, okay, I'm ready for a kid? Or is it like how you feel or what's it based on?
I think, obviously I love a checklist, but I think you don't need to hit everything on the checklist, but hitting 50% on that list would be pretty good.
How many places do you want to see?
Probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
But spend like a week and a half in each.
Right.
So like 2 months out of the year.
Oh.
Every other month being away for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
perfect. Maybe every 3 months being away.
Do you think you're working towards that, would you say?
Yeah, we're planning to go away this year, doing a few little trips, and then next year I want to plan and get that done.
Because I feel like at the rate that you're traveling, that I know you to travel, like you're going to take the next 10 years to get to the next 5 places. Because you don't travel a lot.
I said that
I'm doing
vacation.
It
like Graham will treat everything as his priority. Like, for example, some gas valve will go out on one of his rental properties and he has to spend 6 hours of his time comparing quotes from different contractors, stressing out about it. And that's just something that should realistically be so insignificant in his life. But at the same point, if he just spent the 6 hours trying to optimize the quality of his life and doing the things that he says that he wants to do, like traveling the world and going to go visit places, it's like you should be spending that time optimizing for life fulfillment, purpose, meaning, quality of life, figuring out a few places you want to go to, picking some people you want to go visit them with. Yeah. It's like that right there is actually being meaningful with the way that you're spending your time.
Yeah.
And you prioritize so many other things that realistically you hate doing, you don't need to be doing, over the things that you want to do, but you don't do.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a great observation. That's a really good way of putting it. From what I've observed of you being the way you are. And I'm similar in the sense of once something's on my mind, I'm like, I got to do it right now. But then the things that are so important to us, we sometimes forget to do and plan for and just think they're going to happen organically, but they don't. And I just feel like, man, I think about having a kid, and I'm like, I'm 36 years old right now. When my kid's 36, I'm going to be 72. Well, that's kind of depressing to me.
But see, I think we're going to live into our 90s.
But will we have the same quality of life and health? Right now, you're in your prime in terms of how you observe and view the world and experience it, and how your health is like. When you're 70, okay, you might live to 100, but are you going to be as fit? And will you care about all this stuff? Probably not, I
don't know. I'm planning to live to I want to hit 100. I'm just saying.
Planning to do it.
I want to hit 100. I think that would be ideal. So I'm doing everything I can to live to 100.
Okay. I would love to live 100, but
you got to go to Thailand and get those biomarkers tested.
You do, man.